And that brings us to actually our first interview of a very busy morning in which we're going to hear from a number of leaders. But we will start off, as you just indicated, Jim, with Hans Vestberg, the CEO of Verizon, who joins us this morning. And I know he was with you on Mad Money not that long ago as well. Things change so quickly, though. It's always good to have him back. Hans, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, David and Jim. I hope you're fine in these unprecedented times.
Yeah, they certainly are unprecedented. Hans, I'd love to just get to the business itself. Obviously, you guys are doing a lot of different things here, but just, in terms of the 5G cycle that we talk so often about as last year ended and we came into this year, something we've talked to you so often about, is that no longer going to happen? Are the handsets that we thought that were going to start to be delivered into people's hands to work on the network that you've been building now for years, is that delayed?
So far, there are no delays. We don't see that. We are continuing rolling out our network when it comes to 5G and fortifying our network, and we have no indication on any delays right now. But again, we are in a serious, unprecedented situation, and nobody really knows what's at hand the next couple of months. But so far, no delays as we can see.
Do you see people going out and being able to purchase the next generation phone, though? That would seem to be something that's hard to imagine, at least certain given current conditions.
As we have seen so many change in the social patterns in the US the last couple of weeks, and one, of course, is how you interact with the communication devices and buying them. So, of course, we see much more digital purchasing right now. We only have 30% of our stores open. And it's only for critical services, and now we're going to appointments only. So clearly, we are having closures or opening hours much shorter. So, of course, it's harder to do transactions when it comes to, but there are some critical things, small businesses that need their phone fixed, or they need accessories or something like that. And to be honest, in today's world, of course, the healthcare system is the most important we have in front of us to see that it's working. But secondly, I would say the financial and the communication industries has to work in these times. And I'm happy to report that our network is standing up very good in these times, but in a very different way than we're usually seeing it.
Yeah, of course. There are so many different changes, as you say, in behavior. But I'm curious, as the leader of an enormous company with a huge balance sheet, of course, and capital commitments, are you thinking differently? You indicated you're continuing the build out, of course, in 5G, but are you thinking differently in terms of capital, given this uncertain time, really unprecedented time that we find ourselves in?
Yeah, we are thinking differently. And already 2 weeks ago, we decided to increase our capital expenditures for this year. So we guided up our capex for this year we had the guidance between 17.5 to 18.5 billion US dollars. We guided up to that from 17 to 18 billion US dollars. And the reason is we want to be certain that we continue to have the best and the most robust network. And we also thought it was important for the US economy that somebody is standing up and investing, and that's why we're doing it. So we actually look different on the capital at the moment. And we also did the bond offering when the market was open last week. So yes, we think different on the capital, but it's more on actually serving our customers in a time that is so important, that communication is working for first responders, for our consumers, for enterprises, small and medium businesses, in order to continue to be in business.
Hans, thank you so much for being so open and coming on with us, because you are a breath of fresh air, because you're doing well. There were an article in papers today about how basically the network is overloaded, that whatever is the network these days has too much traffic on it. I've had no degradation whatsoever with my Verizon line, but is it true that we are kind of running a shortage? And if that's the case, what kind of equipment do you need to make it so we don't have one?
So first of all, we have, of course, growth in our network in general, but we have no major problems with the network and serving our customers right now. And I give you a couple of stats so you understand how big this is. We have 800 million calls a day. That's the double amount of calls that we would have on a Mother's Day, which is the busiest day of the year. And the calls are 33% longer, the duration of them. We have 9 billion messages a day. That's equivalent what you would have on a New Year's Eve. So it's enormous traffic in the network. And on top of that, we have increased gaming with 107% in the network. And we have increased VPN connections from home, which you are doing, and I'm working from here right now, with over 50%. So the pattern of the network and the applications we're using the network has changed dramatically. But our fiber network and our wireless network is holding up very well, and we can serve all our customers. And then, of course, we have a priority for the first responders in the network as well at the same time. And I think we're serving some 160 emergency command centers with technology to keep them up at the moment as well. So it is a crisis, and the network becomes extremely important. We are prepared. As said, we increased our capex if it's needed to allocate more capital or more capacity. But at the moment, my engineers are doing a fabulous work. But this is nothing you did last week. This is things they were built the network years ago for this type of robust environment.
Okay, Hans, I've been asking CEOs to take the pledge that no layoff for the next 30 days at least. I imagine it almost sounds like you guys must be hiring. You're certainly not laying off.
We are not laying off. No, we have 110,000 employees working from home, but that we swift in a week. And that's across the globe because we have employees around the globe. So right now we have full occupancy on all of them. And of course, some store employees that are moving home and working from home might have problems to find work tasks. Then we're moving work tasks in the company. I have a database that you can actually assign for other things. So we are fully deployed at the moment. And we think it's important also that our employees that comes home actually have a work task to do. Of course, they need to take care of children and all of that. And we make them whole for financially with salaries, all of that. But it's important to get back to a normal life with the work as well in this time. And we do everything we can to see that our employees has a full day with activities to be part of the company's journey forward.
But Hans, beyond your employees, which are so important, what about your customers? One would imagine, given the economic distress that has spread itself throughout the U.S., those jobless claims numbers from yesterday being example number one, people may not be in a position to pay their bills. Are you seeing an increase in churn? Are you concerned about an inability amongst your customer base to pay you?
It's too early to say that, and it might, of course, have an impact. But we have done a couple of things as well, like for our small and medium businesses and residential customers, we waive all late fees. We also say to all our consumers that if you have problems due to the coronavirus, we're going to work with your payment schedules and waive fees and all of that. So we are very flexible in these times to see that our customers continue. Very much focus on the most vulnerable in the network, and that would be, of course, consumers as well as small and medium enterprises. The large enterprises we work with as well. Some have much more demands, which for obvious reason work from home, etc. Others, like the tourist industry and transport industry, they have a severe reduction of revenues. You need to work with them and see that you can support them as well with another financial model. So you work with all of this, and we think that in this time you stick up for the nation and you stick up for your customers, because this is unprecedented times. This is so different times. I mean, this is a time when you take leadership and are responsible.
Understood. But again, what I hear you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is you're full speed ahead. I mean, you're deploying capital in the same way that you would have potentially. You're concerned, but not completely sure yet in terms of what your customer base is going to look like and their ability to pay. But you're full speed ahead. You're not pulling back at all. Not even on things like advertising?
Yeah, advertising, of course, we do advertising that is appropriate, and we don't advertise new promos on wireless phones and things like that. But we talk more about the technology network and the most vulnerable and what we can do for them in this time. But we try to split the days here, and we have the highest crisis level in the company. We meet every day in the morning with the whole executive team, going over everything. But then we also need to continue to work. We don't know how long this will continue, and we know how important the network is, the wireless network, the IP network, the fiber network, and the fixed networks, that they are working for this nation at the moment. So we cannot sit here and wait and see what's going to happen. We need to execute very, very fast. And so far, I'm really proud of my team. They're doing that, and they're doing the most critical work in the field as well, which is needed in these times.
And we're relying on it. I am right now, Hans, and it's working fine. Appreciate your joining us again, Hans. Keep us posted, of course, as things continue to change on such a rapid basis. Hans Vestberg, the CEO of Verizon.